Hey, this is Jim at Broadfield. Thank you for joining us again this week for another Broadfield Dealer Webinar every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I want to start this week by wishing everybody a happy holidays. Whether you celebrate Hanukkah, which I know just ended, or Christmas coming up, or Happy New Year to everyone celebrating the new year. And look, we had a great year, and it's because of your support and your business, and we look forward to a lot more of that in the upcoming year. We really hope to grow the audience for these webinars, and we hope that you're finding these helpful in growing your sales and growing your profits. Today, we're going to talk about some of the cameras from PTZOptics. PTZOptics has a lot of great news about their NDI cameras, their new ZCam, the ZCam 20X that is now shipping and now available, as well as some more news coming along the line. So let's start by talking about the NDI capability that is going to be released for their cameras. The NDI firmware upgrade is expected on January 3rd. We've already upgraded one of our cameras here and have worked with Paul and Patrick at PTZOptics to check it out and to see it working. And I can tell you, we're really excited about this. Any of your customers who have a Generation 2 SDI camera from PTZOptics can qualify for this NDI firmware upgrade. The NDI firmware upgrade is $600 MSRP, but PTZOptics is extending the 50% off promotion, so your customers can buy it for only $300 up until the NDI models actually ship. So right now, if you want a PTZOptics camera and your customer has a Generation 2 model SDI camera in either gray or white, 12X or 20X, they can add that NDI firmware for just $300. For new customers or customers that are looking to expand their setup with an additional camera, you can sell them any SDI model that is going to be a Generation 2 today, and they can upgrade that with the firmware. So if you look at this slide here, and we look at the SDI gray Generation 2 12X camera, which has a map of $15.99. You can add the NDI firmware capability, and for under $1,900, have an NDI capable PTZ camera. And what's great is that that NDI upgrade is super easy to do. The first thing you're going to do is look at the camera itself and pull the serial number right off of your customer's camera. Once that camera is installed and connected to a network, your customer can download a free tool from PTZOptics website that will help them find the MAC address for that camera. Now, once they have the serial number and the MAC address, we get that information over to PTZOptics directly, and they will provide the NDI firmware upgrade. The part number that you need to add to your orders for that NDI firmware upgrade is PTG2 for Generation 2, NDI upgrade. And we're already taking pre-orders for those now. In talking to the guys at PTZOptics, they've already got more than 50 requests for this firmware upgrade, and expect that now that they have a January 3rd release date pinned down, that popularity is going to skyrocket even more. Reach out to all of your customers who have purchased PTZOptics SDI Gen 2 camera from you and offer them this upgrade just to see if you can add sales, add profits, and add and build that relationship with your customers. If you have any questions about that upgrade process, give us a call. Like I said, we've worked with PTZOptics to upgrade one of our cameras here. I'm not going to say we're experts by any means, and it is a little bit tricky at first, but once you get through that initial hurdle, I really think that any customer can do it to their camera out in the field. PTZOptics will be releasing a new line of cameras with the NDI already built in. But again, if you look at that math that we did before, where they could get a 12X SDI camera with the firmware upgrade, taking advantage of that 50% off offer for under $1,900, that's cheaper than what these NDI models are going to be introduced at. The 12X NDI model in either gray or white is going to be $23.99 or $21.99 MAC. At $21.99, it still makes it the most affordable NDI PTZ camera available in the industry. While the firmware upgrade is expected to be released or has been announced that it will be released on January 3rd, the cameras with the NDI firmware built into them are not expected until later on in the month. The 20x cameras and the 12x cameras with the NDI built into it are all going to be offered at the same price at the $21.99 MSRP, which is a little bit different compared to the SDI cameras now, in that the 20x models are $100 more when you get to the 20x, okay? We just worked with Paul Schmutzler at Streaming Media to put together a little bit of a tutorial on how these PTZ cameras can really fit into a sports production workflow with the NewTek TriCaster TC1. Let's take a look at the video.
PTZOptics offers a variety of cameras to fit your needs. Since I was shooting from a long distance, I chose their 20x models for following the action. With a power over Ethernet switch, I could run these cameras with just one cable. In most sporting arenas, PTZOptics cameras are permanently mounted with a wall, ceiling, or pole mount. In fact, many customers choose to use an outdoor camera housing for permanently installed outdoor locations. For this demo, I'm using the trusty tripod. The fast pace of sports requires high frame rates for smooth motion. I've used NDI to set the camera frame rates to 59.94 and the shutter speeds to 1/120th. As you can see, the video quality is just as good as traditional over-the-shoulder broadcast cameras, but I can remotely control all my PTZ cams from a single location. For a wide shot of the field and stadium, I set up the ZCam variable lens. This little giant offers an epic 122-degree field of view. These 3G SDI ZCams are ideal for close-up locations as well, such as the stadium hallway entrance from the team's locker room, or in my case, the top of the announcer's booth above the crowd. Since all of these cameras use the same lens, it makes shading a breeze. You can manually control each camera's white balance to ensure all of your angles match.
So now here's why I think the PTZOptics product line is as successful as it is. Because they only give you the models that are easy to sell, but still fit into every application or every type of workflow within the production space. They have the NDI cameras that are coming out that we just talked about. They have the SDI cameras, which are available now, which give you both an SDI, HDMI connection, or hardwired video over the IP. Okay, and then they also have the USB versions of the cameras, which will give you the HDMI connections as well, but also give you a USB connection, which is usable in a conference area setup, useful in schools, education, corporate organizations that require that USB camera. But they also now have the ZCam cameras, which we saw in that video from Paul. The great thing about these ZCams is that they use the same optics as the PTZ cameras, so you can mix and match these throughout your production and get similar video quality from all of your cameras being used. The ZCam is available in two models. The first is the variable lens, which will work with any CL series lens, and that sells for $499 MAP. Then the new model that was just introduced is the ZCam 20X. The 20X is now shipping and is in stock at Broadfield, and the 20X sells for $799 MAP. So if you took a ZCam 20X and you set it up in your production space with a PTZ 20X, the image from both cameras would be identical. If you did it with a 12X, 20X variable lens with any of the CL lenses available, you can mix and match those within your production environment to have very consistent shots. This makes your remote setup or your studio setup super easy and super easy to switch back and forth between all of your different camera sources. And if you're looking for camera control, they also have Generation 2 available of the PT Joy, which is their IP joystick. The IP joystick will allow you to control all of your PTZ cameras directly over your IP network. For a more traditional installation in a house of worship or a school that has the serial cables run, the HC Joy would give you the same camera control capability through the RS-232 serial cables. And the PTZOptics Generation 2 has a 649 map. And those are in stock and available at Broadfield. If you have any questions about finding the best mix of PTZOptics cameras, whether it's the USB, the SDI, the NDI, or the ZCams, 12x, 20x, or variable lens formats, give your Broadfield salesperson a call. We'd be happy to share some of the tutorials, and PTZOptics has tons of videos and content available on their website, as well as a dealer resource page with some marketing assets and other stuff to help you sell these products. So give us a call at 800-634-5178. I'm Jim at Broadfield, and yes, we will be back with you again next week at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for another dealer webinar. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you then.